simply mean we praise you, God, who judge our lives in truth. Amen.
Esa enai el hearim, Esa enai el hearim, me'ayin yavo, yavo Ezri, me'ayin yavo, yavo Ezri. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. But life is a journey, a going and growing from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowledge, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength, strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health renewed, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until, looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made a journey. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. Life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death unto life everlasting. Amen. El Harachamana, sweet God, you have taken a beloved friend. We gather and raise our voices now in prayer to the source of life. We ask for comfort and strength from one another and from communities of shared meaning and purpose. Death has taken Carole from us. She is missed already. The gifts of her substance, her heart, her mind, her generosity of spirit, they're still very much with us. Today we bury only her physical substance. We hold on to her principles and values dearly. And we listen carefully, as best we can, to the teachings hearkening us all the way back to the time of the Bible, to help restore us, to help renew us, and comfort us. I invite you to join with me, if you wish, in the recitation of the 23rd Psalm. We say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Amen. Ata imadi, thou art with me. The faith of the psalmist is echoed today in feelings I know are engendered among the immediate family for Carole. Ata imadi, look at you, you're with them. There's so much gratitude for your being with them, holding them in comfort and support. You're invited, if you wish, to continue to mourn and observe with them today, as we continue with a service of interment, Mayfield Cemetery, to be followed by receiving of friends at the residence of Armin and Charlotte Guggenheim at 16 Kenwood Court in Beechwood until 5 p.m. today. And you're invited, if you wish to honor her life, to please do so with a gift to the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. And of course, to continue to offer your gestures of condolence, your memories of this really wonderful woman over the days and weeks to come. Contemporary Rabbi Chaim Stern wrote the following words, which I think are the most apropos way to speak to the nature of this moment. He wrote, "The light of life is a finite flame. Like candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it's radiant with warmth and beauty, but it fades. Its substance is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, but our life does burn down and gutter. There's an end to the flames, we see no more and are no more seen. But we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life, and so something of us can never die. As we move in the eternal cycle of darkness, death, light, and life." The words of this meditation are my prayer for our friend, a precious human being in this community, Carole Harris. I only got to know Carole during these last 7 or 8 years of her life. And having spent some time with the members of her family, exchanging visits and notes with her, helping her during the difficult time of her husband's death in 2012. I trust that if this loss had happened to one of our mothers or sisters or friends, Carole would have tried to be the person at our side, offering a shoulder to lean on or an offer to stand on to see a brighter day than this one. We grieve here today with Ben and his Dana, Jean and her Ron, and our hearts hurt alongside theirs. Today they are still trying to rid from their mind's eye the image of their mom and mother-in-law, rendered so vulnerable, physically weakened, even after the resilience she was known and admired for. She was finally subdued by the frailty that makes us all human. Today is a day to make Carole whole in their eyes and all of ours again. And so Ben and Jean remember especially the courage and determination that characterized their mom's life. After her first marriage to Herb Michelson ended in divorce, she moved back here to Cleveland, first into her parents' home on Merlandale, and then she saved and scrapped day by day to afford the home in which they truly grew up and matured on Laurelhurst. They remember watching her begin and then carve out a highly respected career as a local educator, teaching for 30 years in the Cleveland Heights and University Heights schools. And they remember her after a full day at school going to night school, after full days as a teacher, securing a master's degree at John Carroll and advancing her career. Now, there are many emotions that arise when your parent dies. The one I sense most from Carole's children is admiration for what she did with her life. They share that deep admiration with Laurel, Barbara, and Mark, with Shelley and her Todd, Lincoln, and brand new baby girl, really brand new baby girl, Jade Zoya. The closeness engendered with these children, grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren brought through Carole's marriage to Herb Harris were a source of great blessing. Carole was their matriarch as well, and the loving and devoted grandmother to Sarah and Natalie and Rachel. Laurel wrote to me on Friday about the way in which Carole welcomed her blended family members with open arms. She was, in Laurel's words, beyond a wonderful grandma to Shelley, giving her love and a great deal of time. Laurel says of Carole that she made her a better person, taught her life lessons through her example and words. They had great times together taking the megabus to Ann Arbor and apparently spending a Saturday night in lockdown in a Shaker Heights apartment. Today we extend our deep sympathies to Harriet and Charlotte, for whom the protection and goodness and affection of the oldest of the 3 Rosenthal sisters has been a given their entire lives. Charlotte and her Armin, Harriet and her late husband William, all have felt blessed by Carole's presence through thick and thin. Since each growing up, the daughters of Sadie and Monta. Baby sister Charlotte shared with me that the sisters had a very special bond, could be described as attached at the hip. She remembers that her mother was always involved in Carole's life, her dresses, her boyfriends, and her life. Sadie loved to hear about Carole's every escapade. Carole was very obliging and told her everything. She also knew how to get a reaction from her mom and her sisters. For example, she would ask the sisters, "Am I fat?" This is a question I have learned you don't answer. But they would say in unison, "Oh, no." Her response, "Are you lying to me?" would be responded with, "Yes, you're fat." After which she'd run to our mother and yell, "The girls called me fat." Charlotte also remembers how after their marriages they spoke on the phone every morning, and Armand would ask, "What do you three talk about every day?" He didn't know that they actually talked 3 times a day the same way. They'd go to Starbucks to talk, they'd go to Nordstrom's to shop. Carole often loved to buy coats. Of all of them, Charlotte remembers Carole having the greatest style in dress and decorating. She asked me to say the following words on her behalf. "Carole, the chain has been broken. No more phone calls reporting what the other sister did. It feels like one of our ribs have been ripped from our chest, never to be joined again. But we are the luckiest 3 sisters in the world. We had something very special, and we hope you rest in peace, and that you're dressed in an outfit Mom would approve of. You've given us a very important part of you, Jean, Ben, and their families, and the cycle will continue." Beautiful. I want us all to take ourselves back through the many decades in which Carole lived. Born in Massachusetts, just a day or two before Christmas in 1933, Carole was raised here in Cleveland, was a proud graduate of Heights High School where many friends brought her a big smile when she looked back on her life. Her exuberance and outgoing nature found a home at Indiana University, where her sisters remember visiting her at a sorority house and going on hay rides and various parties. There she met Herb Michelson and was pinned while still in her freshman year, married by the time she was 19. The early years of her marriage took place in California, but life circumstances and the end of that marriage brought her to start over, more or less from scratch, here amidst her Cleveland roots. Ben tells me that must have been difficult for Mom, being a single woman in the 1960s. But she did the best she could. She traveled to Israel and later to Africa on professional development experiences. She had many friends, enjoyed playing bridge with them. Jean tells me a big part of her mom was her creativity and her curiosity. She'd make bracelets with crystals, craft eyelet scarves, drew artistic drawings, and created a book together with her dear friend Burnett Jaffe. Loved to read novels and mysteries and go to movies of all kinds. Even in these final years at Stone Gardens, Jean remembers how much her mom liked to people watch. And in Jean's last visit with her mom, she'll never forget the simple joy Carole took in wonderment over the gentle breeze touching her eyelids outside, or the music playing at the piazza at Menor Park. Ben remembers that learning and education were not just a vocation for his mom. She encouraged learning of all kinds to her son, including growing his religious heritage and that of the whole family. She taught religious school classes at Temple. When there were special services, she made a point of encouraging Jean and Ben to attend with her. It was important to Carole that her kids made connections to Torah, to learning, to youth group. Because of her long-time membership at our synagogue, Fairmount Temple, I have the benefit of being able to look back at the notes taken in our files. Believe it or not, inside of this file folder, I have the reservation for the wedding on November 8th, 1984, when Herb Harris married Carole and began a new chapter in their lives together. The setup was in our Simon Lounge for 17 chairs to be placed in a circle by a chuppah, the first marital home for the two of them. The notes say, that setup cost them $35. Don't worry, Ben. It says right beneath that she paid right up. Carole had met Herb, who had been widowed not long before that, on a fix-up from their mutual friend Temmie. A few years ago, when he died, I had the benefit of talking with Carole and learning from her first person what she saw in Herb Harris. She said he was the very best friend she could ever have in life. She loved his sense of adventure, his fine and deep interests in Cleveland history, Jewish history. She loved traveling with him, far and near. He made her feel deeply loved, and even when they just met for a coffee after work or spent New Year's Eves with the lunch bunch and their wives, or attending temple functions of our brotherhood. She also told me that she loved how Herb did everything in his sneakers. No matter how formal or informal the occasion, Herb laced up his sneakers and stood proudly by her side. Ben told me that the years of this marriage were very happy ones for his mom. He was pleased to see how much of an active and caring grandmother she became to Shelley, just as she would later become devoted with many of her waking energies to nurturing and supporting Sarah, Natalie, and Rachel. Natalie remembers going to either Jack's or Corky's, watching their grandma's fork wander over to their plates. This way she could say that she only ordered something small, but she really ate 2 full meals, counting all of the other plates she ate off of. Sarah remembers this too and adds memories of going with Grandma and the whole family to Maumee Bay. Happy Thanksgiving celebrations with her grandmother, and her bringing our famous Women of Fairmount Temple chocolate Seder plates to Ann Arbor. In thinking about Carole's impactful life alongside ours, I'm reminded today of the teaching of the great first-century Rabbi Hillel, who famously asked 3 salient questions about life. The first one is, Im ein ani li mili. This means if I am not for myself, who will be for me? This, it seemed to me, was actualized in how Carole managed the harsh winds of life would sometimes be throwing at her. She did so with honesty, and though not without complaint, neither did Carole sulk or fall to pieces. She always found ways to withstand that wind's force on her own terms. Hillel added, Uchshe'ani la'atzmi ma'ani. If I am only for myself, what am I? This reminds me of the essence of her restless energy, her desire to shed light on and give thoughtfully to others. She clearly had a strong desire to give to others, as exemplified through her many years as an educator. But later, even after retirement, even when disease impaired her abilities, she stayed true to the very same self-effacing words of Hillel, ma'ani, kind of a what am I made of mentality. Finally, Hillel said, Im lo achshav eimatai. This means something that we can walk away from this service with today. Those words mean, if not now, when? These words echo the warning that the final years of Carole's life send to us. There is no time, like right now, to act on our principles, goals, and intentions. No time like this one to express to all of Carole's descendants our admiration for the care they gave to her, and to encourage them to caregive now to themselves, that they might return to life with a vigorous spirit. Im lo achshav eimatai. If not now, when? Let Carole permanently help us count, even on this mournful day, what is precious and loving and honorable about how she lived. Let us ask ourselves, what do we believe in? What today can we do to benefit others? In this way, we will be living up to Carole Harris's legacy, and then her memory will continually bless us all. As together we say, Amen. Friends, I invite you now to please rise. אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, חמצי מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזכירים, את נשמת קדיה בת אברהם ושרה, שהלכה לעולמה, בעל הרחמים יוסתריה, בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen. God, full of compassion, eternal spirit in the universe, grant perfect rest now in your sheltering presence to our beloved Carole, for she has entered eternity. God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings. Let her soul be bound up in the bonds of everlasting life. God, she is your inheritance, and you are hers. And let us say, Amen.
Coats that need to be ID, please. Yeah. I have a coat that needs to be ID. Read on this.
Those who are pallbearers, please step in this direction. Those who are pallbearers. Pallbearers, careful with those gloves and body weight. Pallbearers. Pardon? Family will follow behind the rabbi.
Adonai ma'ona kahayita lanu b'dor v'dor, O God, you've been our refuge in every generation. For you brought forth the earth of the world, God.
Right.
The interment will be at the Mayfield Cemetery. We ask those who are going to that service, please return directly to your cars and kindly manually put on your headlights. Thank you.
someone.
Sorry?
Do we give these?
No, you
to
can leave them
someone?
anywhere, they'll take them out.
Thank you.